This is the last of a generation of polar scientists, the group that followed explorers like Shackleton, Scott, and Amundsen. Some came with Admiral Byrd in the 1940s, others in the late 50s. They met up this summer in the fishing village of Port Clyde, Maine, to say what might be a last goodbye to their friends who fought the elements on the coldest, highest, and most foreboding continent on Earth. Paul Dalrymple, who organized and hosted the gathering, followed a neighbor to the South Pole in 1957 after he earned his Ph.D. in geography.
I enjoyed the South Pole so much. I tell people I'm still there. I haven't left.
After he earned his Ph.D., Paul was off to the South Pole.
It was all news then, and there's a certain charisma about being there. It was very exciting.
Bob Dotson, a Harvard-trained geologist, had followed a Norwegian-American captain to Antarctica 10 years earlier.
By far, mainly geographical exploration. We had between us and the pole an area probably 3 or 4 times the size of Texas that had never been seen. With planes and dog teams, we explored for the first time. We're the first people to see an area the size of France. I was 20 when I arrived there. I was the chief dog team driver. I was also assistant geologist.
The idea that you're traveling where no man had been before on planet Earth, that's very exciting.
Also at the gathering were newer members that have been bitten by the Antarctic adventure bug.
So one of the things about the Weddell seals is they make these very long descending tones.
Modern-day explorer Doug Quinn from Syracuse University felt the magic of Antarctica in a different way.
And really just try and capture the sonic essence of Antarctica. But the sounds of ice are phenomenal. The continent is teeming with life at the coast. It ended up being very sound-rich beyond what I was originally anticipating.
The magic of Antarctica is almost impossible to describe. You get spoiled there really quickly because it is just a lovely place to be.
Liesl and her husband, Michael Powell, work for the Antarctic Heritage Trust.
There is a lot of history, and I'm really passionate about saving these huts. If we don't save them now, they will be lost forever. You can feel what these men felt.
Books, sound recordings, paintings, and photographs are all part of saving the history of Antarctica.
Many of us do not speak the language of science, and we respond very deeply to the work of painters, photographers, poets, who will bring us information about the science and about the Antarctic. They use a language that's really familiar to a broader spectrum of the country.
To see those paintings and to see those photographs gives them an appreciation of the beauty and the pristineness of Antarctica that is so easily despoiled if we don't take care of it.
But in many ways, this gathering was about one last chance for these pioneers of science to get together with old friends and remember the experiences of their youth.
I am a spiritual person. I was an aviator and I spent a lot of time in the air. To see it from the air, the grandeur and the beauty reminds us that our Creator has made beautiful things. Nothing is quite like the Antarctic.
And I think one of the reasons for pursuing Antarctic research is not just the research, but it gives young men a chance to do something significant.
They also feel there's another reason to be in Antarctica.
You know, the other aspect of Antarctica is the fact that it has been designated as a place of peaceful scientific endeavor. The money that we spend in Antarctica, we are actually purchasing peace.
But there's also a warning.
I'm sure that we're having some effect on the climate, and the idea is that we know that that's happening. For us not to do something is unreasonable.
Lisa Crockett, whose dad, Frederick Crockett, was with the original Byrd expedition, now also goes to the Antarctic as a biologist.
So the Western Antarctic Peninsula, where I've been working for the last 25 years or so, is undergoing the most dramatic warming anywhere in the Southern Hemisphere, and arguably anywhere on the planet.
But so much of this gathering was about people.
Just people have a common interest in the Antarctic and they like to get together, and they had the guts to get up and go, to reach for that unknown. They had to be a little different.
There's some magic, I think, that comes from the fact that it's Antarctica. The Antarctica is so unique, and you sometimes don't realize it until you just left.